In your case, your customer does not fit one single demographic.
The easiest rule to follow, in my opinion, is rule of 40.
So that's very interesting.
I was a professor in engineering college. I did it only for a year.
Did you decide to take funding to grow your enterprise?
When we are still bootstrapped, we have not taken funding.
Walk us through the process of selling your product and marketing your product.
We started with the marketplace first. Just like any other business, this one transition from one phase to another kept happening almost every 6 months to a year, and I believe it is even happening today because I know for the fact that what worked yesterday may not work today, and um, what may work today may not work tomorrow. So we'll have to constantly keep going through process of fine tuning business model every single day.
My name is Martin. I am the host of the Immigrant Nation podcast, where we share the stories of immigrants who didn't just chase opportunities, but they built it. Today's guest is the embodiment of global entrepreneurship. Rupesh Sanghavi immigrated to the United States from Mumbai, India, with a background in chemical engineering and a career as an application engineer at major corporations. He followed a path many immigrants take: education, stability, corporate success. We understand that. We understand what it takes when you come to a new country, the sacrifices you make to get an education, to get into that white or blue collar job. But in 2007, something small sparked something massive within him. After noticing how expensive his wife's college textbooks were, Rupesh launched eGody. Starting with books, what began as a small idea grew into a Houston based global e commerce powerhouse, operating more than 16 websites, employing more than, hear this number, 400 people across the globe in the US and major focus in India, serving over 2,500 brands and partners. And wait for it. This enterprise generates over $150 million in revenue annually. Today, eGody sells millions of products annually across 13 countries and ships to more than 130 countries worldwide. Rupesh, when you settled to solve your wife cost of books, did it occur to you that you were solving $100 million problem?
First, thanks, Martin, for a very generous, nice introduction. Thank you
Of
very
course.
much, and thanks for having me. And yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, in that moment, it didn't even feel like it. Actually, I was working full time, and I was after like regular day, I was up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was just like kind of looking around, searching around, and realize that there is this opportunity that we can capitalize on. And I literally did a first step at that night, on that night at 2 o'clock in the morning. And the first thing I did was to wake up my wife and told her, hey, like, look what's going on. Like, I mean, I found something. But no, I did not realize that this is a massive opportunity, as big as it got eventually.
So that's very interesting. How many ideas are born at 2 o'clock in the morning? We need to do just a podcast for this, right? But here
Yes,
you go solving a problem that was for you and for your wife, and now it becomes a
correct.
global platform where you're serving hundreds, if not millions, of people. Walk us through the process of
Correct.
moving from my beautiful wife to how do I build a platform that is serving the amount of people you're serving today.
Absolutely. So I think it's, as they say, Rome was not built in a day. I would say in a very similar fashion. It took us a while to get to where we are today and where we are heading. But it was one step at a time. Uh, Technology uh, combined with persistence and uh, some sort of innovations helped us get to where we are today, and what do we do today. So it was a journey, I must say that. If someone says that, like, I mean, if they say overnight success, just 15 years in making, is what the story I live by. And I personally experienced that it takes a while to get it going. I mean, even if you realize that in the corporate world, be it open AI, I mean, which everyone knew about in 2023, perhaps that started in 2013 or 2014. Somewhere I read Netflix was in existence before Google ever did. So before Google, so there are like lot of time. It's a matter of constantly understanding market, judging customers, and serving them to their best interest is what it takes to build anything meaningful or successful.
In your case, your customer does not fit one single demographic, which in the marketplace, that's a beautiful thing because now you have a dynamic on demographics that you're zeroing down to one, two, maybe 100 products. And correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming up to the point of starting this new entity, you had not owned the business. You were technically educated as an engineer. And so, how did you grow the business from the first year, second year, third year? Walk us through those phases. For you personally, what was changing as the business was growing?
Absolutely. So, to give you sort of uh, nuts and bolts of what how it started and what we do today is like it used to, like, I mean, in about 2012, 2013, it was my favorite saying that our business model seems to be changing almost every year. So what started is that my discovery of an arbitrage where I can buy something off eBay. The first transaction that I did was to buy something, of, not a book for my wife, but I realized that I can buy a book, a general, like it was a small child, child book, children's book, and I can buy from eBay for like some 40, $50 and sell, like instantly sell it on Amazon for like $1,600. So that was the first transaction I did, and I, like, it was a successful transaction, and I liked what I did and the money I made. But and then I first my first step was to scale that. What I did was to search the item and then see that if I can win that auction at a reasonably good price, so that I can make money. So the first thing I did was to optimize that part. Instead of me manually looking for every eBay item and deciding whether that item would sell for a higher price or not. I mean, in the books category, I created a software that will automatically do all of that, like go through each eBay link on that particular day and give me the list of the items that I should consider buying it. So that was an automated part. Then the second automation part was to use of sniper. In eBay world, it means that you go and put that bid at the very last minute, and either you win it or lose it, but then other competitors don't get a chance to come around and outbid you. So that was the second phase, automation of data, then the automation of execution. Then I realized that, okay, even though I'm good at it, I can only invest, or I can only have so much book. Like I had my closet full of books, and I broke couple of closet in those apartment because book is very heavy. So I had enough of books, but I realized that okay, the most I can have is maybe 300, 500,000 books, but then there would be an end to it. So I started experimenting with arbitrage model where um, I can just go to various websites like half.com existed at that time. So I can just say that okay, what is the item, what is the price of an item on half.com, and just list that item, and if I if I get a sell, I'll just go and buy from half.com. So now suddenly my inventory went up from 1000 or so inventory to suddenly million plus, and obviously the sales exploded almost in line with what I did. So I mean, so then I realized that okay, this is I mean, now I'm getting better at selling. After that, what happened was I realized that okay, I mean, as much as we are proud of US economy, there is an equal amount of market existing outside United States. And so what I did was created a program or a software that would help me sell not only in US but worldwide. So that kind of expanded my selling opportunities. Then sort of I realized that okay, I'm limiting myself with only books. What if I can sell items which are non-books like computer, mouse, whatever, xyz? So then I started focusing and learning more about non-books, and that now that non-books is almost 80% of our business. So if you look at it, almost all of these steps, one at a time, uh, I kept crossing bridges as I came across, or kept creating new ideas or new software to support my vision at every step of the way. So all in all, Martin, I would say that is what the business building business journey looks like. And of course, this is, I'm talking about story until 2013, and then over a period of time, it just kind of continued on those trajectories, and then eventually we bought 15 companies and so on.
You were talking about when you had transition from books to products and how you identified products as your next market. So if you want to pick up from there again.
All these, I mean, so starting from buying books to drop shipping books, from drop shipping books in US to selling around world, to understanding that books are a, like books are much smaller market than everything else. So constantly moving from one step to another was like sometimes 6 months to a year process, because it's not easy that we decide one step at one day and can clearly take a very different direction very next day. So just like any other business, this one transition from one phase to another kept happening almost every 6 months to a year, and I believe it is even happening today, because I know for the fact that what worked yesterday may not work today, and what may work today may not work tomorrow. So we'll have to constantly keep going through process of fine tuning business model every single day.
So, Mr. Rupesh, you're either growing or you're dying. And that philosophy really does not just apply in general life, it also applies in business, right? You're either
Correct.
changing or you're dying. And so for you, you have obviously come up with metrics that you're utilizing to be able to look at your business and then decide this is the direction we need to change and to go. What are some of those metrics
Correct.
that you're looking at that help you be able to make that determination? And how do they apply when you're translating them to your team?
The easiest rule to follow, in my opinion, which I learned from one of my mentor is rule of 40. So every year we try to get to number 40, and that number 40 is made up of two parts. One is growth and profitability. So sometimes you have say 10% profitability, 30% growth, or sometimes you have a 20-20, 30-10, and so on. So you'll have to keep making those determination at every step of the way, that given a situation, circumstances, market landscape, what is the best way to focus on. And that is how I think about it, that that is how most of those decisions are made, that what is that one thing that will take me closer to the target.
When we were researching you, the word bootstrapping kept coming back over and over again. Walk us through the process of when you started your business, how you had to bootstrap initially, and at what point did you decide to take funding to grow your enterprise?
Great, uh, fantastic research and great question, Martin. So um, well, we are still bootstrapped. We have not taken funding, and we have chose not to take funding. And over a period of time, I believe, I mean, we have had many opportunities to get funding, growth funding, and so on. So what started as a kind of a business, because at that time this business started without any formal plan or projections. So first 1 to 2 years, it was just, I was like focused on growing and getting things into place to begin with. And then eventually, I mean, once we sort of started being recognized and realized, we started getting few funding offers who wanted to invest into our business. But I also realized that, of course, I mean, if I were to, like, I mean, I like the concept of funding. I like working with people, but at that time, I thought that it would be not like it would be wiser to give it a little bit more time and let the business grow a little bit more than pick up funding. So we never picked up funding for a very long period of time. And even today, we are in bootstrap state, and we love it because it gives us lots of flexibility. It gives us a power to navigate through situations like COVID and container crisis and lot of other situation, tariff and so on. So because we are not necessarily answerable to someone who may not understand very fine details of the business, I feel that it gives us a power to continue to survive and grow. So bootstrapping is not a bad thing. You don't like, I mean, it is funding to start a business is not a necessity.
Okay, so I think there's something in there that we need to explore because this is important, right? And majority of
Sure.
immigrants who are listening to us, are trying to learn something. They're trying to figure out what what path do I take with the idea they want to bring into the marketplace. When
Correct.
you're starting a small enterprise, and I
Mhm.
think you're the best person to ask this question because you started your enterprise with a very narrow vision of growing your business in your immediate environment. And then over time, you've grown it into this huge global conglomerate. So, given you've bootstrapped yourself from day one to where you are today, walk us through what the initial process of I have very limited resources to
Mhm.
throw at this business. I see the giant opportunity it can be. How did you apply the limited resources you had to be able to get to where you are today at the same time, not neglecting? your responsibilities to your family?
I think it's a fine line that what you are what you have to give up to be able to achieve your dream in a long run may not be easy or may not be obvious at the time you are doing it. I must say and confess that for initial few years, I did moonlighting, so I was still employed full time with my work, and I was giving more than 100%. I was like, I mean, I used to work hard, used to stay longer period of time, used to earn 5 on 5 or 4 on 5 at the job. So it's not at the neglect, but then what I gave up at that time was perhaps a quiet good evening, perhaps some sleep over a period of time. All that sort of added up into, I mean, for first few years it created a ramp that helped me manage my expenses and investment at the same time.
Mr. Sangavi,
Yes.
thank you for that insight, because a lot of people assume that once they have a fantastic idea that there's a need in the marketplace, that they should switch boards, and that really helps a majority of us be able to understand that at some point you have to give some sacrifices. At
Correct.
that limited ability where you had zero employees, and you had to grow to a point where you could not just afford to pay yourself, but also you could afford to start onboarding your new employees. Walk us through the process of selling your product and marketing your product. How did you scale that?
Sure. So I think the trick in this case, I mean, before we started website, we did. I mean, that's a very smart question, by the way, Martin. So before we started our own website, which required active, active marketing and active investment, we started with the marketplace first. Now, the way marketplace models around the world work is that you pay them only when there is a successful sale. So that kind of helped us got to where we are today. Is that because we never had to pay upfront, so we can just list the item or the inventory, and when it sells, we sort of pay the marketplace their fees and collect rest of the money, and that rest of the money goes into the system to further grow the business. So because there was no high fixed cost, it helped us to stay under radar and without finances.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, what is the difference between running a small business that is geographically restricted versus running a business that has no borders?
I would say this that world was born without borders, and when it comes to e-commerce, I mean, there are enough tools, informations, and companies out there that kind of makes e-commerce business almost a border free into most countries. Yes, there are certain countries where it's impossible to sell, and which is fine, but I would say that about 70% of the world's population lives in countries where it is not very hard to do business. And fortunately, we have been selling on 150 plus countries, 15 countries, maybe 20 now, 20 countries actively, where we have a like where we have a legal presence, and where we are the local seller in that those countries. But at the same time, we ship our items to more than 150 countries. So I think most of the trade or e-commerce has moved to a border free mindset and approach anyways.
So, when you say that, that sounds like such a huge tasking idea. Like, from someone who is not gotten to the place where you have over the years, that is almost overwhelming. How is it that you're able to juggle and balance growth and revenue?
I think growth, I mean, because our payment cycles in our industry are between 15 days to 45 days. So, as long as we could survive that period of time, uh, we should be good. So like we are always focused on the growth. And the other part is that we sell over 90 plus different marketplaces in addition to 16 of our own website. So when you have revenue coming from multiple streams, they tend to make a continuous chain, so to speak, that even if we are getting paid 15 days from certain marketplace, but in our account we see the deposit coming from different accounts every single day, and that kind of keeps cash flow humming, and that helps.
Okay. So, did growing up in India
Mhm.
in humble beginnings, did that give you an edge in business? And if so, what
um,
was that?
I would say that it definitely did help in more ways than one, because um, I had no fear of doing anything that I needed to do to get it going. Just to give an example, that before I moved to United States, I was a professor in engineering college. I did it only for a year, but I was a professor in engineering college. And in India, like it's a very respectable position when you're a professor of a good college. And once I moved to US, the first thing for my first job um, was janitor, to clean uh, bathrooms, ladies and men's alike, right? So as long as I was comfortable in both the position, be it professor to janitor, I think that is what the that is what gave me an advantage, that no work is too small or um, too unimportant. Everything is important, and if it needs to get done, it needs to get done.
For a
So,
corporation like yours, walk us through how you are adopting AI and how AI is helping you as an entrepreneur and your employees be able to become more efficient and effective.
so to that's fantastic, Martin. So to me, AI is, or to our organization, AI is like a modern day oil. I mean, lot of products that you see and you don't see, lot of products that works in the background, is because somebody is working to get the oil out of ground and getting us that oil into the right format to us. Same thing with AI. AI is just not one website or one concept. AI can be used in many different ways, be it content creation, data analysis, idea generation, software creation, all of that. And in our organization, we do believe, we strongly, very strongly believe in power of technology. So every single day we do remind, request everyone to use AI to an extent possible. We are more concern about potentially lagging on AI than the data security. So, as much as I've heard concerns from various stakeholders that you cannot put everything out there, our company has been very open. Lot of competitors, lot of former employees have learned from us, but we are very comfortable and competent about our own existence and abilities. So, in a very similar way, we do not mind using AI to an extent. It helps us and customers and every partners that we work with. And I think almost every part of the organization from I mean, we have like four different parts within our organization, and not counting support functions like HR, finance, software team. So each one of them have their own AI tools, paths, guidelines, opportunity to explore, and so on.
You have been working on transforming from a brand retailer to a brand owner. Philosophically, what does owning the value chain mean to you? What is that transition?
Great. So I think, see, when you are a reseller, lot of things related to product design, validation, quality control, investment, um, brand awareness, lot of those aspects does not come to foray. But once you are a 100% owner, so not only you are focused on selling, but you are focused on 10 other things, including idea generation to validation to creating minimum MVP to everything else. So yes, but of course it is lot more lucrative also. While it is hard to make a double digit profit or even high single digit profit on the reseller side of the business, on the brand side the profit margins can easily be into high teens or even higher. So ownership of the brand is not same as reselling of the brand in many ways, but once you master it, I'm sure one will start enjoying it.
Rupesh, if
Mhm.
you had a group of young entrepreneurs that were looking to go into the marketplace, what are some of the
Right.
things you would advise them to get comfortable with when it comes to entrepreneurship?
I would say that have a mindset to get started somewhere and don't give up. It is okay to pivot, but not okay to give up. You miss 100% of shots you don't take. So if someone approaches any aspect of life, be it business or not, with the mindset that I'm not going to give up easily, I think that's where magic starts to happen.
You know, as an entrepreneur, one of the lessons that I've learned that is really critical is what you just
Mhm.
mentioned, which is not giving up. Um,
Correct.
and and that in the process of not giving up, you must get really comfortable with failure because you will fail a lot, a majority of the time. What's
Correct.
one expected lesson you have learned from selling in over 130 countries that transitions across all borders?
I think serving customers is the most important aspect of the kind of business we are in, perhaps almost every kind of business. Be like, I mean, there are some universal values that be kind to customer, give them at least what they're expecting or perhaps more, be their advocate, they're always right. Some of this may sound cliche, but they are tried, tested, and age old for a reason. So I think over a period of time, I've realized that always put customers first and ensure that they are happy and everything else will take care of.
You've annihilated to the idea of uplifting quality of life through serving others.
Right.
Do you see commerce or enterprise as a form of diplomacy per se?
Yes, definitely, because ultimately commerce unites people, and this is the, like, I mean, when people gets united, lot of positive things happens. And because if there is a shared interest uh, of making things successful, I'm sure that it kind of lot of people will put their differences aside and focus on growing together. So definitely, as they say, action speaks louder than words. Same way, some sort of a commerce or shared interest is perhaps the best form of diplomacy and negotiation out there.
Talking about shared interest, walk us through how you are managing your team's culture, development, and motivation across multiple countries and continents.
Right. So I think our team's culture is primarily based on work hard, play hard. We definitely expect everyone to give their more than 100%. uh, there is a famous saying that there is no growth in comfort zone and there is no comfort in growth zone, and we almost live by that, because anyone who wants to be growing will realize that perhaps our company, our culture is the best place to grow. For example, AI, we started to set AI mandatory AI goals every month for everyone since uh, 2022. So we sort of understand, realize the power of technology, power of freedom, and that is those are the values we pass to our team. And I must say that I've always got lot more back than I anticipated when I made our internal stakeholders happy. One of the thing that we do is RSU or ESOP, where everyone working in the company is some sort of a part owner of the company as well, and that kind of brings them ownership. And even though we have not done it yet, but when we achieve our own exit, I'm sure that lot of people will also realize their dream or financial dream come true through the ESOP that they have been holding on.
Very interesting. You are the first immigrant I've spoken with in over 100 and some episode that has talked about ESOP. And while most immigrants have investors who have um, benefited from their enterprise, the idea of benefiting your teammates under the umbrella of ESOP, it really is a fantastic opportunity for you to deliver for them. How do you sell your employees, your teammates, to buy into not just the culture of the company, but also the benefit of an ESOP? And by the way, just walk us through what ESOP means for those who do not know.
Sure, sure. So I mean, see, I mean, everybody who becomes part of our company, by default, they get their market compensation. Sometimes even better than market compensation. So that is given. But I truly believe that no matter, I mean, we all know as a student, we used to have a tiny fraction of a money that we are earning today as a professional, but we were happy, because as your income grows, most people tend to expand their lifestyle in a way that would consume almost everything that a person earns on a regular basis. But if they have, if they want to make some major thing in their life, be it opening a charity school or a hospital in their own village, to going on a world travel, to buying a house, or any major financial decision, it's hard to realize with the salary alone. So ESOP is the way that you work for the company, and once the company sort of becomes, there is a liquidity event, then you can encash on your ESOP. And while the value is not very hard to convey. But the best part is that our ESOPs or RSUs are not just a market differential price, but actually they are like sort of founders ESOP. So they don't pay anything to get that ESOP other than being part of the team or goal. They get those ESOP almost as if they were founder or part founders. So because they are not um, investing directly into it, but they still going to get a benefit from it. I think the value is evident in the proposal itself.
Very interesting. What is the one question you're hoping I would have asked you that I have not asked you yet?
I think you got based out of me, but one thing perhaps um, like perhaps gets asked me a lot of time is, while success is all very intriguing and sounds happy while looking back, what are the tough calls or tough moments that you had to live through and survive through to be able to get to where you are today? So that has been one question. Perhaps you could, or if you want, I can answer that question as well. So, I mean, success is not a straight line as we all know it. It's lots of um, scenic and non-scenic routes, so to speak.
Let me ask that
So,
question in a in a different way. Um,
sure.
what are some of the failures you've had that are not just painful but also embarrassing?
Okay, there are plenty of it, but as we sort of grew our business, we started working with lots of vendors, and one of the vendors, like, we sent almost $50,000 advance, 55,000 to be exact, order, like hoping that we'll get our products after payment. And that was a fool's paradise. I mean, like the way that fraud happened to us at a wrong time. And like, I mean, looking back, it sounds stupid, it sounds embarrassing that we sent that kind of money to like what I think was a like legitimate looking business. And despite being aware about cyber fraud and all of that, I don't know if it was completely cyber fraud or just a fraud, but yeah, that was a relatively tough and embarrassing call to have happened when your earnings are like goes vanished in some of these things. It becomes very hard to deal with.
Very interesting. Rupesh, tell our listeners where they can find you online.
Sure. I'm very easy to be found on LinkedIn. Just as you see my name, type in LinkedIn with perhaps Argod at the end, and like that's the easiest way to find me online. On LinkedIn, even my number is visible and available, so you can always text me, reach out to me, mention this product podcast, and so I know where you are from. But yeah, LinkedIn is perhaps the best and easiest gateway to reach out to me.
Rupesh, if you were to do it all over again, how would you do it?
So I'm not sure, Martin, that if I would do anything different, perhaps I would do two things different. One is that as much as I'm happy about how well and how soon I adopted technology, I could have doubled down or tripled down on it easily. Could have used lot more technology early on. That's one thing. Another one is investment. That perhaps as much as I love my freedom, whereas I should have considered to take investment early on. And investment is a too, like, even though there were proposals to invest into the company and I respectfully denied, but perhaps taking investment also has its own advantage, and I should have considered that at that time. So those are the two things that I would have perhaps done differently than what I'm doing right now.
Excellent, excellent. Rupesh, it's been an honor. It's been an honor. From arriving in America in 1999 to building a global e commerce ecosystem that connects products, people, and possibilities across continents, your story, Rupesh Sanghavi, has been one that is not just inspirational, but motivational. You saw opportunity where others saw inconvenience. You built a global company while thinking locally. That speaks to the immigrant spirit. And now you're transforming from a retailer brand on a brand, and not just selling products, but also you are shaping how markets revolve. That's what we call immigrants grit. And for that, we are thankful and proud of you and wish you the very best of luck in enterprise and hope that you can come back to the immigrant pod one of these fine days. Rupesh, thank you so much for making the time for us and for making the time for immigrants across the globe.
Thank you, Martin. Thank you very much for your time. And I must admit that it is one of those podcasts that I enjoyed a lot. You were quite thoughtful, asked relevant questions, very, very well, skillfully asked questions. Loved all you do. And thank you, Martin. Appreciate you having me.
Thank you. Bye bye.